Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel and to the Ultimate Racing League, and welcome back to Deep Forest Raceway in Switzerland for race 2 of round 5. Race 1 was an absolute stormer, and I cannot wait for this one to get going. If it's anything like race 1, we are in for a proper treat. Now I'm going to go down the grid and then we'll go through the tyres or blah 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 as we get the race going, because if you're like me, you just want this one to get started so we can see what's happening. So I'm going to run down the grid. It is a bit of a reverse grid. It is the first 8 reversed and the second 8 reversed, or something like that. Anyway, Castrian is on pole with Hoppers in second, Ninkinu third, Molepiece fourth, Phaser is 5th, Pete is 6th, DB 7th, Aussie Rooster is 8th, Bazza is 9th, Enzo Jack 10th, Brownie 11th on the grid, Wayne G is 12th, Scott just behind him in 13th with Big Dan 14th and Harry Poppins, race 1 winner, in 15th. So back up to the top, get the right camera angle, and we will get this race underway. It is a rolling start, as they all are on a Sunday now. Now there is a mandatory stop during the 16 laps, and I can't remember whether it's, I think it might be the end of lap 6. You can come in and you've got to be done by the end of lap 12. So the pit lane is open, the pit window is open between 6 and 12, I think. And I do believe it is racing softs and mediums to be used in this race as well, so they are mandatory tyres. So Castrian leads us through the first section, 2, 3, 4, through turn 5, down towards turn 6, this right-hander into one of the short tunnels. Hoppers in second, then we've got Ninkinu, Molepiece, Peter, then DB, everybody just slotting in behind everybody else at the minute. Aussie Rooster in 7th, Bazza is 8th, then we've got Enzo Jack, then Frowny, Wayne G, Scott, Big Dan, Harry Poppins has already made a place up, and then Phaser down in 15th. Well, what happened to Phaser? He didn't even get off the line, did he? Oh, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good. Stroll, he's gone across the grass, and oh, he's just... oh, you don't want to be reversing there, Phaser. And that's what's happened there. He's just took too much of the dirt. Got it all over his tyres, and he's really struggling to get the car going again, so that is so unlucky for Phaser. But back up to our current race leader, Castrian, as Ninkinu makes a move on Hoppers and gets himself up into second. Hoppers has to drop down into third and slot behind Ninkinu. We've got Molepiece and Pete chasing each other through the tunnels. The two teammates now then, could they go side by side and cause a rolling roadblock? It has been known. So Pete and Molepiece, as Pete pulls to the inside, Molepiece stays wide, hard on the brakes into turn 14. You can see Aussie Rooster and DB going side by side. Oh, there's a bit of three-way battle going on just behind, and I think Bazza, Enzo Jack was involved in that. DB may have been. Wayne G now up to 10th. Then we've got 4 cars all stuck together. We've got Brownie, Big Dan, Harry Poppins. Who else is in there? Oh, everybody's in there. As we go down towards turn 1, it's about 15 wide. Harry Poppins going to go all the way around the outside. Frowny's in there somewhere. Wayne G's in there. Big Scott, that's Big Dan and Scott. It is so crowded in the mid-pack at the minute. Well, it's not even mid-pack, is it? It's the pack. As Harry Poppins tries to fight his way through, he's now having a look at Aussie Rooster. Still side by side. Wayne G, Molepiece, Aussie Rooster, Harry Poppins, they're all in there. I think we should just sit back and watch. It's very hard to call this one, as they are chopping and changing constantly. This is fantastic racing. Wayne G's sitting in 10th. He's not really got anywhere to go, has he? Oh, he has now. Our space has opened up. We'll jump on board with Wayne G. But I'm just saying, he's got really nowhere to go. There are cars to the left, the right, in front, behind. He's managed to find himself on the inside. He's made a bit of room for himself. But he's got Aussie Rooster in front of him. You can't push him out of the way. Oh, we've got Aussie. Who's that? Scott. That is Scott. Tucked right underneath. Aussie Rooster in front. We've got Scott sniffing all over our rear end. As we're on board with Wayne G, we're going down the hill now towards turn 1. Wayne G goes to the inside, defends this corner. Aussie Rooster, Scott really not that bothered. He's going to go around the outside. Harry Poppins in front of Aussie Rooster. Let's go back up to the top and then we'll have a look at the tyres, shall we? So Ninky Noo having a great second race so far, but I'm not going to jinx it, but Ninky Noo is out on the soft tyres. Pete in second, he is also on the softs. Castrian, he's on the softs, although he has picked up a half-second penalty. So Bazza is going to take that third podium spot away from him. Bazza is on the medium tyres. So he's having a great race at the minute, Bazza. If he can hang on to that third, fourth position, he's just going to slot behind Castrian. There's no point really challenging him there, because Castrian's going to have to serve his penalty now, and it'll be an easy overtake for Bazza. And Bazza will move up into third on the medium tyres. So remember, he's going to swap onto the softs. Castrian then has to drop down to fourth. Hoppers is in fifth. He's got DB all over him. Hoppers is on the medium tyres as well. DB has gone medium. Then we've got quite a gang of cars, haven't we? We've got Aussie Rooster on the softs. Wayne G on softs. Harry Poppins, he's on softs. Mole Pieces on the mediums. So the guys on the soft tyres have really got to get the best out of them in these early few laps before they start to wear. And the medium runners can go a little bit deeper into this race if they want to. It depends how they feel, but the guys on soft really do need to be getting themselves up amongst the leaders very early on. Big Dan, he's on the medium tyres, he's having to go around the outside of Scott. Big Dan says, I don't mind that. He somehow found some grip out there. Well, they've all have, haven't they? Scott, he's on the mediums. Enzo Jack also on the mediums, and Phaser on the mediums. So Phaser trying to catch up to the back of Enzo Jack. Enzo Jack must have had a bit of a moment as well to find himself in a bit of no man's land at the minute. All on his own in 14th. On Pete. Pete has now got himself in front of Ninky Noo. So we missed that. Let's just go back and see if I can see where that was. There we go. And it was down the straight, down towards turn 1. Pete on the inside, Ninky Noo having to hold what would be the normal racing line. Hard on the brakes. Ninky Noo went for the cutback, but Pete just got on the power just that little bit too early for Ninky Noo, and has managed to keep himself in front. So great move from Pete to get himself up into P1. Ninky Noo now down in second with Bazza all over the back of him in third. Let's just over Pete's on the softs. Oh, Pete, bit of damage at the front, so he must have just caught the barrier as he went through one of those short tunnels, but he's managed to hold on to P1. Ninky Noo on the softs, and then Bazza, I mentioned earlier, on the mediums, and doing a great job if he can hold on to that third. There is a tiny gap opening up back to Castrian now. Castrian in fourth. We can just see Hoppers and DB. DB just pulled out to try and get on the inside of Hoppers. Hoppers managed to hold on to fifth position though. DB just slots in behind him. He's got his teammate Wayne G just behind him as well. Wayne G will pick up the slipstream from DB as they go through turn 16 and 17. Start up the hill and then start back down again after going through turn 18 down towards turn 1. Wayne G just slotted in behind his teammate for now. Both trying to get on the inside of Hoppers. Hoppers going all the way around the outside. DB's got through. Hoppers slots into 6. Wayne G just behind him. Then we've got Frowny just behind Wayne G. Harry Poppins is creeping up. He is in 9th at the minute. It is all getting a bit congested in there again. And we can see how congested it is. We go on board with Harry Poppins, and that's the view he's got. He's got Aussie Rooster all up in his jacksie, and then we've got Frowny just ahead, and we're sniffing all around him. We've got one eye in front of us and one eye in the mirror as we go around turn 10 into the first of the longer tunnels. Everybody jostling for a good position so that they can get a good run into turn 14. Frowny and Wayne G both going defensive. Hoppers staying wide. Frowny trying to go in between the two of them. Harry Poppins can't quite make his mind up where he wants to go. He's chopping and changing. Is he? He's going to go around the outside again, or is he not? No. He gets on the inside of Hoppers. So Harry Poppins goes through. Hoppers has to drop down to 9th. Harry Poppins now right underneath Frowny. We're having a look. Hoppers picked up a penalty. Aussie Rooster in 8th. Harry Poppins now pulls to the inside of Frowny. He's trying to follow Wayne G through down into turn 1. Aussie Rooster coming in hot. Managing to slow it down though. So it did look like we had somebody in the pits. We've got DB in the pits. Molepiece is in the pits. Enzo Jack all on the medium tyres. They've all come in. DB back out now. He will be on the softs for the rest of the race, so he can concentrate on trying to make some ground up. Same with Molepiece and Enzo Jack. So they're the first 3 to make their stop. Pete is still out in front on the soft tyres. He will want to take them as far as he can into this race. Remember, you have to pit between the end of lap 6 and the end of lap 12. So Pete just down in front, got himself a bit of a breathing space back to Bazza, 2 or 3 car lengths. I'm sure he's not going to get too complacent, but he can have a bit of a breathe. Bazza in 2nd then, Ninky Noo in 3rd. Ninky Noo doing a great job actually, and I'm not trying to put the commentator's curse on it. He is doing a good job, so come on Ninky Noo, we're all rooting for you. Wayne G has got himself up into 4th. He's not messing about in this second race, is he? He knows how important it is to make those soft tyres work and get in amongst the leaders, because when he has to make his pit stop and go onto the mediums, it could be that the guys around him are going to have the advantage on the softer tyres. So Wayne G not messing about, and now looking to catch up to the front 3. Harry Poppins just leading this this pack of 4 or 5 cars at the minute. What a fantastic race he had with Frowny, who's just sitting behind him in race 1. These two were just to and fro-ing all race until Frowny had that I don't know what we can call it, misfortunate or unfortunate episode, shall we say, in the closing laps. But Frowny now all over the back of Harry Poppins. Aussie Rooster in 7th. Castro and his teammate just tucked in behind him in 8th. Big Dan in 9th. Then we've got Scott. Hoppers in 11th. Phaser 12th. DB 13th. Remember, he's made a stop. Same as Molepiece and Enzo Jack. But back up to the top. Peter still hanging in, or hanging on to P1 at the minute. But on lap 7, he will be crossing the line to start lap 8. Has opened up quite a decent gap, hasn't he, Peter? He's got Ninky Noo. We can see Bazza, who was in 30s. He's now gone into the pits. He's decided he's going to change his tyres. As Ninky Noo comes down towards turn 1, Wayne G now moves up into 3rd. Remember, the guys in front, these the 3 in front have not made a pit stop yet. Wayne G in 3rd, looking to put the pressure on Ninky Noo. Harry Poppins has caught up to Wayne G now, and he's got Frowny in tow as well. These two just you just can't separate them, can you, tonight? So Harry Poppins and Frowny fast approaching the back of Wayne G, who in turn is going to be on to Ninky Noo within the next turn or 2 as they go through turn 10 up through 11 into the first of the long tunnels. and it does look like it's starting to get a little bit dark. Through the tunnel they go. Wayne G now right on the back of Ninky Noo, has a look up the inside, hard on the brakes. Ninky Noo looking for the cutback. What a great move from Ninky Noo. He saw that one coming, he knew exactly what Wayne G was going to do, and he just let him do it, and Wayne G has picked up a half second as well. That was a great bit of driving from Ninky Noo actually. He knew exactly what Wayne G was going to do and just got the cutback. Wayne G picks up a penalty. Harry Poppins moves into third. Pete has gone into the pits. Hoppers has come into the pits as well. We're on lap 9 as we're following at the minute. Harry Poppins trying to chase Wayne G down now. He's just going to stick with him because Wayne G serves that penalty. Harry Poppins will take that P2 away from Wayne. Frowny just sitting there in fourth as well. Although I'm sure they would like to get by before we get to the penalty zone. It looks like Wayne G is making a move on Ninky Noo, and he's got it done this time. So Wayne G goes through to P1, but it is only going to be a short-lived lead as Wayne G, you can see the bar filling up now. So as Wayne G serves that penalty, I'm almost sure, well, Ninky Noo going backwards, I think. He's just been mugged, hasn't he? Harry Poppins has gone through, Frowny's gone through. So Wayne G is going to serve that penalty now. Is Harry Poppins close enough? I think he is. The momentum's going to take Harry Poppins through. Frowny is going to end up putting alongside. Although Wayne G fighting back with Harry Poppins now. Harry Poppins tries to get the cutback, exactly the same as what Ninky Noo did. And he has just got a bumper in front of Wayne G. No, Wayne G now has got a bumper in front of Harry Poppins. And I think this is how it's going to be all the way through 16, 17 and 18 down towards turn 1. Oh, as Harry Poppins and Wayne G decide to have a bit of a door bashing session. Harry Poppins has got the lead. It's 3 wide into turn 1. Now who's got it? It looks like Frowley's got the inside line. Harry Poppins tries to go on the inside as well. Wayne G is in there. So these three wide into turn 1. And Frowny has come out on top with Harry Poppins in second, Wayne G in third, Aussie Rooster sitting in fourth, and Ninky Noo, well, he got mugged, didn't he, going through the tunnel. I'm not quite sure what happened there, or whether he thought, no, do you know what, I'm not having any part of that, you guys go, and I'll just sit behind you and watch from inside the car. And he has got a great view of what's happening in front of him, hasn't he? Castrian in 6th. Bazza having made a stop in 7th. He's started to work his way back through the pack again. We're on lap 10. Peter in 8th. He's also made his stop. He's now out on the medium tyres. Then we've got Big Dan in 9th. DB 10th. Scott is in 11th. He's made a stop and he's out on a fresh set of softs. Then we've got Molepiece, Hoppers, Enzo Jack and Phaser. So back up to the top then, our race leader Frowny. As we go through turn 18 and then start down the hill, well, slope towards turn 1, and you can see it is getting very dark out there now. Of course there'll be no lights on. So getting a good view of the apexes starts to get a little bit tougher. I think the only place that's lit is the tunnel. As Frowny leads us around turn 5 down into turn 6 now. And then we enter into 7, 8 and 9 like an S section. It's like a double S section, isn't it? You've got turns 2, 3 and 4, and then you go into the 2 right-handers of 5 and 6, and then you've got 7, 8, 9, which is almost a mirror of 2, 3 and 4. You go around turn 10 and then it's up through the tunnels. You can see the only part of the track now that's actually lit is the tunnel where the penalty zone is, and that's down towards turn 14, and it is Frowny leading us there, with Harry Poppins in second and Aussie Rooster third. Now these three really have opened up a decent gap. Obviously none of them have pitted yet, and it's got to be done, I believe, before the end of lap 12. I need a drink. Oh, and all three have come in together. So the three leaders, Frowley, Harry Poppins and Aussie Rooster, are in. Castrian, he's decided, oh, well, I don't think he could quite make his mind up what he wanted to do there, poor old Castrian, so he decided to try and make the pit entry a little bit wider. Let's just have a look who's coming through next then. Oh, well, they're all in the pit, everybody's in the pits. It is Bazza that's gone through. Now Bazza did make an earlier stop, and he started on the mediums. He is now out on the softs. So Bazza did the right thing pitting when he did. He has now taken the lead. Pete is moved up into second. He has also made a stop. Frowley is in third. He's out on fresh mediums. Harry Poppins, Wayne G, they are all out on the mediums. Big Dan is on the soft tyres, slightly warm, but they are up to temperature. So Big Dan can start putting some pressure onto Wayne G, and then get after Harry Poppins. Aussie Rooster, oh, Aussie carrying a half-second penalty as we go around turn 10. That is unlucky for Aussie. Scott sitting there in 8th. He'll be encouraged by that. All Scott's got to do is just stick with Aussie Rooster, and he's got P7. It's an easy position to make up. And there we go, as Scott goes by Aussie Rooster, trying to get back up to speed again. He's got DB bearing down on him, but Aussie Rooster's going to get to turn 14 before DB can get there. And now he can concentrate on trying to get P7 back off of Scott. Molepiece in 10th. He's got Ninky New just behind him in 11th. Ninky having a fantastic first half of the race, but when he got mugged in the tunnel, it seemed to have knocked his confidence a little bit. He's made a stop, obviously, which has put him down into 11th, and cold tyres, he's picked up a half-second penalty. That's unlucky for Ninky New. Hoppers, well, he's down in 12th, but he is leading this little pack of Castrian and Enzo Jack as they go down the hill towards turn 1. Hoppers having to defend. He goes to the inside. It looks like Castrian is trying to go all the way around Hoppers, and Enzo Jack just sitting there waiting to see what happens between these two. Castrian gets by. He gets a good move done on Hoppers. Enzo Jack follows him through. The Hoppers loses 2 places and moves down to 14th. But a great move from Enzo Jack. He could see what Castrian was going to do and decided to follow him. And now he is glued to the back of Castrian's car. Oh, it's a bit of a slide on from Enzo Jack. That's cost him a little bit of time. Hoppers couldn't quite capitalise on that, but Enzo Jack was all over Castrian, but he's let Castrian get away from him a little bit. He's now got a bit of work to do. Catch back up if he can get in the slipstream. I think he was hoping to maybe put a challenge in as they got towards turn 14. But that little wiggle may have cost him. Instead, he's having to deal with a challenge from Hoppers. Hoppers having to look up the inside. Enzo Jack giving him plenty of room. So that's good racing from Enzo Jack. Didn't cut the corner, didn't cut in front of Hoppers. And then we've got poor old Fazer down in 15th, serving another penalty. The back up to our current race leader, Bazza, doing a fantastic job. Out in front with 3 laps to go, including this one. Pete in second. Having a great race as well is Pete. He's got Frowney at the back of him though. Pete is on the mediums. Frowney also on the mediums. Pete making it as difficult as he can for Frowney to get by. Then we've got Harry Poppins, Big Dan still putting the pressure on. Wayne G in 6th. Harry Poppins, I think he's on the mediums. Yes, he is, and Big Dan is on the softs. And Big Dan pulls alongside Harry Poppins as they go into the tunnel. Who is going to come out in front? It looks like Harry Poppins in a minute. Big Dan has got the softer tyres and will have the better grip as they go into turn 14, but Big Dan's having to go all the way around the outside. Little twitch there. I think he thought Harry Poppins was a little bit closer than he was, but Big Dan just having to bide his time, be patient. As we're through turn 18, down the hill they go to turn 1. Let's have a look and see if Big Dan is going to put a challenge in on Harry Poppins. If he does, he's got to go around the outside. Wayne G wanting a bit of this as well. He's trying to follow Harry Poppins through, and Big Dan's got the move done. Big Dan went all the way around the outside and has moved up into 4th position. Harry Poppins has had to slot into 5th with Wayne G just behind him, and Big Dan is now all over Pete. We're on lap 15. Bazza still out in front, a nice cushion of a gap between himself and Frowny. Frowny got in front of Pete then. Pete has picked up a half-second penalty. That is unlucky. That is going to let Big Dan through. Now Harry Poppins could go through as well as Pete serves his penalty. So Big Dan will definitely move up onto the podium. And there he goes, as Harry Poppins managed to get by as well. I think he has. So Harry Poppins has moved up into 4th. Wayne G has gone to 5th. So Pete, just for that half-second penalty, he's lost 2 or 3 places. And that is unlucky. He's now down in 7th because Scott has gone through as well. So just back up to the top as Bazza crosses the line to start lap 16 and the final lap of this race. Brownie in 2nd, Big Dan is 3rd, Harry Poppins having a fantastic race with Wayne G. Well, these guys have been right in it from the start of race 1, and they are still as Wayne G tries desperately to go around the outside. Harry Poppins just keeping himself ahead of Wayne G, but Wayne G on the inside. Then it'll be Harry Poppins, then Wayne G as they go through the S's. But Harry Poppins comes out on top. Oh, as Wayne G just does a bit of a side swipe of the barrier. That has not slowed him down though. Back up to our race leader, Bazza, doing a fantastic job. Let's just have a run down. Frowny in 2nd, then Big Dan, Harry Poppins, Wayne G. Scott is 6th, then Pete, Aussie Rooster, DB, Molepiece, Linky New, Castrian, Enzo, Jack, Hoppers, and then Phaser. But then up to our race leader again, Bazza, for the final time approaches turn 14. This really tight hairpin left-hander, and it looks like Bazza is going to take this. And what a great race. He got his strategy right, he pitted at the right time, started on the mediums, and looks definitely like the right call as Bazza comes across the line to take the win, and well done to him. Frowny gets 2nd, just ahead of Big Dan. Fantastic racing from them. Wayne G just ahead of Harry Poppins and Scott. Pete in 7th, Aussie Rooster 8th. DB comes across the line in 9th with Molepiece 10th. Ninky New is going to be 11th. And Ninky New across the line in Enzo Jack, he will cross the line in 12th with Castrian just behind in 13th, and Hoppers in 14th with poor old Phaser. Not been his night, but he'll be back, I'm sure. We look forward to seeing you next week. We have an endurance race next week. We are in America. We're at Daytona, home of the Daytona 500, although we're not NASCAR in it. We are going to be back in the NSXs, but it is an endurance race next week, so we're looking forward to that one. So hopefully you can join me then. Ciao for now.